Guys, and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be fixing an LG K7. Now I bought this phone on eBay for about 15 bucks in a lot with two phones that were broken. So this is one of the two, and let me know if you want me to fix the other one, by the way. But clearly this phone needs a new screen. Now we're going to start by just turning the phone off and just removing that back cover so we can get to the components. Now we're going to remove the battery here, set that aside, and as you notice, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 screws that we need to remove. So we're just going to go ahead and unscrew those. Now make sure you're keeping track of where the screws go. It more matters in iPhones. I've learned that the screws are different sizes in iPhones, but it's still good to keep an organized desk as you're taking the screws out in this phone. Now, you don't want to lose the screws, obviously, but you want to keep them in order as to where they go. Alright, so now next we're going to be removing the metal frame of the phone. So I'm just going to take a plastic pry tool and just pry in between the screen and the metal frame. Now, it comes off pretty easily, so I just pry it with my hands after a while. And you can see inside, we could just set that metal frame to the side here. But inside, we can get the components. So now we're going to take the back-firing camera, the front-facing camera. Now I recommend you use a tool to do this, not your fingers like me. We're removing the headphone jack on the bottom of the phone, and we're also going to remove the screen flex cable that is connected in the lower right hand corner. And then lifting up the motherboard, we can just take that right out and set that aside. Now after this, we're going to have to remove the earpiece. That's very important. Please remove that. And just using a heat gun real quick, we're going to be removing the glass display from the plastic frame. Now there's a lot of frames in this phone, clearly. But we're going to just loosen up the adhesive a little bit so we can easily get a pry tool under there and just separate the glass from the plastic frame. Now, during this part, I really do warn you to put gloves on or just keep your fingers out from the glass, because there's glass shards all over my desk during this part, and I actually do cut my finger a little bit. So I do warn you about this part to keep your desk clean and not be a dumb like me. So this part was the most exciting, because now we got the plastic frame away from the glass, and I do go back in with the heat. I do keep reapplying the heat because it does cool off after a while. But as you can see, here's the plastic part that we need, and we're just putting some adhesive down to keep the screen on. And I cut a little bit there. Just during that, I cleaned up my desk a little bit and removed a little extra glass that was on the plastic frame. But right now, we're just applying adhesive. I don't think I put enough down, but I put enough to secure it. I did have more, but I just didn't put it down. Now, putting the screen into the frame, we want to make sure that flex cable in the lower left corner goes through the hole, because that's actually what we're going to connect it to the motherboard with it, which, you know, as you could guess, is probably very important. But now, making sure that fits, we can now continue to reassemble the phone. So putting the motherboard back in, or the logic board, whatever you want to call it, that just snaps right into these places where it goes. And putting the earpiece back in. We can put the front facing camera in, the back facing camera. We can reconnect the screen and put the headphone jack in. Now I do recommend that you test the screen at this point to see if it works. Now I didn't. I just go ahead and put the metal frame on, but I do recommend that you do that because if something is wrong, then you can just go in and fix it right there, and you don't have to take the whole phone apart again. As you can see, screwing the screws back in, and again, it is very important that you keep the screws organized and just know where the exact place where they go is. Now, I'm sorry I couldn't speed this up a little bit. If you are actually watching this part, then first of all, you made it to this part, so but second of all, I couldn't speed this up, and I'm sorry about that. I could have cut it, but, you know, I need you to see me putting those screws in. Okay? Alright, so making sure they're all tight, and so the phone won't fall apart when I go ahead and sell this. Now we're going to put the battery back in, and put the back cover back on, and there we go. Turning the phone on, it works. I didn't mess it up. So, yeah, that was the end of that. So we can remove that satisfying screen, and there we go. Now we have a nice and brand new looking LG K7 screen, and everything does work on it. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time.